going on, everyone? I'm Josh Douglas. Say I get asked the question quite a bit, actually. What's your favorite way to catch a bass? That's a really hard question to answer because, truthfully, any way they're biting, that's how I want to catch them. I love it. Cranking, drop shotting, football jig, Carolina rig, buzzbait, it doesn't matter. But if I had to pick one, there's no doubt about it, it'd be punching matted vegetation. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I do it all the time, all around the country. I actually try to search out that kind of water if I can. Here in Minnesota in the fall, when the milfoil dies off, it mats up, and big girls get underneath there, and you can get up on them and you can really get them out of there. Again, being from Minnesota in the winter, there ain't much for a guy like me to do up here. Everything's frozen. So I spend as much possible time as I can down in Florida, flipping up big giants out of those hyacinth mats. And this last winter, I actually spent a considerable amount of time doing it. I really feel like I fine-tuned my presentation. And before we get to all the fish catches, I'd just like to share that with you. I use two rods to do all my heavy lifting, MHX FP936 and MHX FP937. The 936 I use for my ounce and a quarter, sometimes ounce and a half, and my 937, that's my meat stick. I use that for my ounce and a half to two, maybe even 2.5 ounces if I really need it. I've custom built these rods. That's something that's new for me, something that I got on board with. I couldn't deny it anymore. I've put everything I have into my fishing. I love it. And I want rods, I want equipment that is tailor-made for me, not tailor-made for a general public. And there's some things that I can do to do this. I mean, this blank is awesome. It's got a nice stiff backbone to it. It drives that hook home and then big fish. But it's still got a nice tapered parabolic action to it, and it keeps them pegged. A bass's instinct when they get bit is to go straight up. Well, if he's right next to the boat and I flip him up from right there, he's going to come straight up. And if you're using too stiff of a blank, that thing will shoot straight when he comes up, and that line bows, it's going to go straight, and that gives him the chance to throw that, especially with the big weight, which is what is needed to punch into this heavy vegetation. Also, custom building, there's just some things that I can do. I never liked having extra cork or EVA or any of that stuff above the reel seat. I like to just feel the blank. To me, it's more of a finesse. Feel like it's more sensitive to me. Also, I'm not that big of a dude. I use my rib cage a lot when I drive hooks home. I like an all cork handle for any of my frogging, punching, flipping style rods. Everything else I like split grip, but in this presentation, I really like that solid cork handle. This rod's got everything you need. Like I said, these two rods, the only ones I have on my deck when I'm in Florida, and there's mats around. To get to the presentation real quick, or the rest of what I use a Shimano Exyns DC. This is the Japanese reel. There's a reason why I like this reel. It's got an 8:0 gear ratio. It's fast, same thing. When they come up, I can catch up to them really quick, but at the same time, this has brass gearing, and to me, that's important because those fish are big, that vegetation's heavy, and it won't let loose on me. I'll get that fish, get it in the boat. My line, I got a lot of buddies that are with Daiwa. They kind of turned me on, told me Daiwa Samurai was the business. And they're right, it is. It's quiet, and that's why I like it. It's the most quiet braid I've ever used before. It's strong, it's limp, doesn't get tangled around my guides, and it doesn't make a lot of noises in those mats. Once I made the switch, I definitely noticed I started catching big fish. Big fish get big for a reason. They pick up on small things, and noise is one of them. Definitely like the Daiwa Samurai braid. Outside of that, the actual business on the rod, pretty simple. I got a bobber stop that holds my weight. My weight, I only use Rain's tungsten. To me, Rain's the best. It's the smallest, it's most compact, and at the same time, they use a matte painted finish. I like that, it's not shiny. But the most important thing about it is they use a really good insert. I love inserts. I'm convinced anything that's mass produced is gonna have some flaws. And you can't tell me that every single weight that's bored out that does not have an insert is perfectly clean on the inside, because I've lost big fish, and it was because I had an impurity of some kind inside that thing that would frame my line, and when I set the hook, off it'd break. The insert, like I said, it's an insurance policy for me. It helps me make sure to get that big fish in the boat. Hook, get yourself any kind of flipping hook. I use a straight shank. I use a snell knot to the straight shank hook, and a beaver style bait. They're definitely my favorite. You can use some popular ones out there are the Gambler makes the BB Cricket, small, compact. You don't want too many appendages because when this thing breaks through the mat, you want it just to pull through and not get hung up. I use the Reaction Ovation Beaver a considerable amount. It's one of my favorite. And just this year, I started getting on the Rains Punch and Predator. Awesome bait. It's got a smell to it that drives fish crazy, and big ones bite it, and they love it. So get yourself a couple big MHX meat sticks and get out on your favorite fishery. I don't care where it is. If they have mats, flip it. There's big fish under there. It'll make your day. For more information about me, please visit my website. That's joshdouglasfishing.com, and I hope to see you on the water. Tight lines.
That one! Oh, man! Look at that one. Sit down.